Everyone, start the video on. I'm sure that's also part too. Um, okay, this is easy. Start. Um, Hi, Karen. How you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. Is this your first time here?
Yes,
Yes. How you doing today?
I'm good.
Good. Are you where are you from? I guess which state are you from, if you don't mind me
Uh,
asking?
I'm in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Oh, I could tell by the accent. I'm from Arizona right now, and it's summer's killing us right now.
Oh, I have a brother in Arizona in Goodyear.
Oh, Goodyear, yeah, yeah. I live near the Cave Creek area, so I don't think
Okay.
it's too far from Goodyear. Let's see. So let me share my screen real quick. So yeah,
Yeah, I saw this on Facebook and I said, let me check this out at least.
yeah. No, it's good. Thanks for coming. Pretty much this, I run this every like Tuesday, and I come up with different topics for people to learn, and I just run through and like just teach people. That's it. So maybe you can learn a little bit today. I'm going over
Oh,
computers today.
okay.
Yep. Let's see. Let me share this screen. Um, would you say you're pretty good at computers?
I didn't say that. I do okay.
Just making sure.
I do
Let's see.
okay.
Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. So is it hot right now in Alabama?
It is, but it's not as hot as it's been because we've gotten quite a bit of rain.
Ah, that's nice. That is nice. Yeah,
Mhm.
we're still raining for we're still waiting for rain over here. It hasn't come yet.
Okay, we've had it. Like, I think we had several thunderstorms yesterday afternoon.
Okay, can you see my screen so far? So far?
Computers 101.
Yep, computers 101.
Uh-huh.
All right, awesome. And I guess I'll wait a little bit, see if anybody comes. If not, it'll just be the two of us. And I guess it'll be a personal lesson for you then. You can ask for you. You can ask, oh shoot. You can ask if it's 101, you can ask as much questions as you want. So it's pretty much your hour now. on asking questions. So
Okay.
let's see, present. Trying to find the right screen. Sorry about that. Yeah, because Arizona right now, it gets to like, I'm sure your brother shared it, but like it's like it gets to 100, 115 over here.
That's what
And
he
it's
said.
like it's so hot. Like I go outside and like it stings to go outside.
Oh, I can believe it. We were in Arizona a couple of years ago. I think it was
Oh,
like in September, and it
yeah.
was a heat unlike any heat I have ever felt.
Yeah, it's like an oven. It's like
Yes,
you walk outside and it smacks you in the face of how hot it is.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll get started here. And again, like since if you're the only person here, if anyone else joins us, that's fine too. Feel free to stop me anytime. If you have any random questions, feel free to ask me too. Don't be shy.
Okay.
All right. So welcome everyone. Today's Computer 101. Pretty much today, I'll just pretty much be going over both the hardware and the software of computers. The purpose of it is pretty much to help you guys understand computers a lot more, from more than just like scrolling through browsers and stuff like that. Understanding when you're going out and buying a computer, what makes a good computer, and what are some ways to protect yourself online and different softwares you can use. So I'll just get started here. Let's see. Move this over here. Okay. So I went over the overview already, pretty much introduction to computers, hardwares, essential softwares, some practical skills, and safety and security. So, so if you don't mind me asking, what computer do you have? Are you like a Windows user? Are you a Mac user?
I have a Hewlett Packard.
Oh, okay, an HP.
Yeah, HP.
Do you like it? Well, when did you buy your computer?
I've had it probably a couple of years, but I use my iPad more.
Why do you use your iPad more? Is it easy? It's just easier to navigate, easier to use?
Yeah, I think I just got used to it.
Ah, I see. I see. What,
Yeah,
what do you like play a lot of games on your iPad, or do you like or do you just mostly just browse and read books?
I play games on my iPad. Like I do a newsletter on my
Okay.
computer.
Oh, you have a newsletter? That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's such a. Let's put it this way: it's probably not as awesome as probably a lot of people, but I do the best I can.
I mean, that's all you can do, If you don't mind me asking, what's the newsletter on?
It is. We have an organization called United Women in Faith,
Yeah.
and I do the newsletter for our district organization.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
cool. That's really cool actually. So it's like around a church, or is it like multiple churches working
Church,
together?
yeah, it's like the United Methodist Church.
Oh, okay.
It's an organization within, but it's actually a national organization.
Oh, that's really cool actually. How'd you get involved with it?
Well, most United Methodist churches have what they used to call United Methodist Women, and then they just
Yeah.
changed it to United Women in Faith.
Ah, I see.
It's a very large organization, so I do the district newsletter for it.
That's pretty exciting, not gonna lie. How long you been doing it for?
I've been doing the newsletter, I believe, 3 years.
Wow, that's a long time. So it comes out like every week, every month?
Oh, oh, definitely not. Twice, twice a year,
Twice a year. Okay. At
and
least
then
you leave.
yeah,
Okay.
and then in between, like if I have to put out information, I used to do like a flyer.
Okay.
Hmm.
I see. Well, at least you have more time to revise it now. Make it more perfect every time you set it out. All right, so I'm gonna keep going. So pretty much, this sounds like a very trivial question, but I guess a lot of people may not know. But what is a computer? In reality, a computer is pretty much anything with a CPU. Do you know what a CPU is, Karen?
I do not.
Yeah, so pretty much a CPU is like the central. I'll use it. I like to use analogies when I teach, but pretty much a CPU. If you think of a factory, a CPU is the guy manning all the hardware equipment in the factory. That's pretty much a CPU does, and it helps like run calculations for your computer to you know run the computer more or less. Like an easy way to understand computers, and I know a lot of times it gets really complicated with all the gigabytes, all the CPUs, and all these like weird acronyms. You can just think of
Hmm.
a computer as like my camera just switched. That's weird. You can think of a computer as pretty much like a glorified calculator because everything it's all it's doing is just running numbers and like electrical signals on and off just to show the screen. Like it's just a really, really big calculator. And at the core, it's the CPU. Okay, the camera went out. Let me put it back on real quick. Let's see. There you go. And pretty much at this point, in like the broad terms, anything with a CPU counts as a computer. So your desktop, your laptop counts as a computer, even your smartphones.
Uh-huh.
Crazy enough, you can actually build a computer with just a Raspberry Pi. And what that is pretty much a it's like a chip. Oh, you can't see my screen. So but it's like a really big chip that you can like install a CPU on it. And it's like it runs the calculations without the screen or the keyboard. So it's kind of cool. Let me see. Is it this one? Huh. Camera keep going. Oh, there you go. But yeah, and I guess do you have a smartwatch too, Karen, that you use? Or
Well, I
any smartwatches?
I have a watch. It's not an Apple, but it's just a watch, and it does do really just do my messages. It'll
Hmm.
do phone calls, that type of stuff.
Yeah, do you like it? How hard like this like the smartwatches on like for like everyday stuff for you? Is easy to use or is it hard to see sometimes?
No, I can usually see it.
Okay, that's pretty good. But yeah, a smartwatch pretty much by definition is considered a computer too. Any gaming consoles and even a car. If you didn't know, a lot of cars nowadays have built-in software in
Yeah.
their computers, with the CPU and everything. That's why a lot of times you hear that cars can sometimes get hacked and be controlled. So that's just something there that that not many people know about, you know. Let's see. Any questions so far on the slide, Karen?
Mm-mm.
All right, I'll keep going then. All right, let's see. So, do you know the difference between software and hardware? The rough definition, more or less, or the difference?
Not really.
Not really. So yeah,
I,
so pretty much hardware is like it says, any firm hard materials that you can feel. Software is non-tangible. So let's say, for example, your iPad, right? The
Mhm.
iPad itself is considered a hardware. So like, if your let's say your screen goes out, you can't turn your screen on anymore.
Mhm.
What's left is pretty much the hardware, you know. Whereas the software is the screen that shows up and the different apps, the different like websites or the different programs that you have on your laptop
Mhm.
or iPad, that's the software.
Okay.
You could think of like going back to the analogy of like a factory. The hardware is the factory itself, and the software is the blueprints and instruction manuals to help run the factory properly. Does
Oh,
that make sense?
yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So that's pretty much the whole gist of it. I know when it comes to like hardware and buying like an iPad and buying like a computer, they give you all these numbers like CPU, RAM, hard drive, like how fast it is. A lot of times it's really hard to understand. So we'll be going over that too. Um, Same with software. It's like OS. There's antivirus. There's other different softwares. So it gets kind of confusing. So
Mhm.
I'm just gonna keep going. Any questions so far on this? I hope I explained it clearly enough that like you understand the difference between software and hardware.
You said the hardware is the factory itself, and
Yep.
then the software is like the blueprints.
Yep. It's the
Hmm.
instructions because all the computation, all like the machine running, the hardware does. And how it does it is the software that tells it how to do it. You know,
Hmm.
yeah, like you could think of like an easy way is like let's see. The software is like the manager. He doesn't do the work, but he knows he has all the knowledge um to do the work. Whereas like the on the floor manager is what the hardware does. He does all the heavy work because he doesn't know what to do. He just knows how to operate the machines. That's one way to think about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we just go to hardware components, and this I'll say for this one, if you're gonna go buy a new computer or a new phone or any new like um any new components,
Mhm.
this is where I'm going to talk about this the specs, how good they are. Pretty much like if the Best Buy people is like, oh yeah, this thing has like 125 gigabytes of speed or something like that. You will now after this you will understand what that actually means.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Pearl. Nice to see you again.
Hello. Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
I'm fine. If you guys haven't met, this is Karen. She's new too. So
Hello.
um, like
Hello.
always, if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to just, interrupt me. And Pearl, I'm going over computers today. So if you have a computer, this would be a very helpful class.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
All right. Feel free again. If you have any questions, feel free to interrupt me. I don't mind. So hardware components. Pretty much, I'm just gonna catch you up to speed, Pearl. But pretty much, I was going over what a computer actually is and what's the difference between hardware and software. Are you familiar with that, or do you want me to explain it real quick for you, Pearl?
Um, can you explain it kind of? I'm familiar with it, but I want to know if I got it correct.
I got you. I got you. So a computer is a computer. I'll just go back a little bit. I'll show you. So a computer is pretty much anything with a CPU. Are you familiar with the term CPU, Pearl?
Yeah, central processing unit.
Oh, you got it. You got it. So yeah, a computer is pretty much anything with a CPU. It can be from a computer, smartphone, all the way to a Raspberry Pi. If you don't know what that is, it's literally a motherboard chip with a CPU on it, and it runs computations without having a screen or like a keyboard. Just in case you didn't know that. Smartwatches, even a car is considered a computer. Software versus hardware. The way I explain the analogy is pretty much software is like the instruction manuals, and the hardware is like the factory that has all the machinery. That's pretty much the difference. Any questions on that so far, Pearl, before I move on?
No.
All right, you got all that?
Yes.
All right, sounds good. All right, so the hardware components. Here, I'll be going over the different hardware parts, and why this is important is pretty much this will help you gain the knowledge to pick out better computers and understand what the Best Buy people are actually telling you when you go buy a computer or a smartphone or any like computers pretty much. So CPU, since Pearl, you already know this, Karen, you might not, but just a quick CPU. The CPU is more or less the brain of the computer. So like us as a human, this and all the information that we take from the outside world goes to our brain and back to our body. That's what the CPU is to the computer. So whenever you click the key, you move your mouse, or you click on a website, or even you click on an app, that information is passed to the CPU first before anything else. It's passed to the CPU. The CPU is like, hey, where do I send this? Then it will send it to either like the software, or it will send it to like a different hardware piece that changes the either like the graphics, it changes the screen, changes like the battery, something like that. Any questions so far on the CPU part?
No.
Nope. You're good on this, Karen?
I'm good.
All right. Feel free to ask any questions, okay? Let's see. So the RAM. Does everyone know what a RAM is besides the animal RAM, obviously?
I really don't.
Is it like memory? How
Yeah,
much
close.
memory the computer hold?
You're close. You're close. So a RAM. So I'll back up a little bit. So storage, right? Let's say your computer has a storage, but there are two types of storage on the computer. There's long-term storage, like that stores for a very long time, and there's short-term storage, that stores for temporary. And when I mean long-term, is like think of storage as the long-term storage as a typical storage you guys know. Like you guys save a file on your computer, you guys save a document, you guys save a video for a long time, and when you turn off your computer, you go back on and the video is still there, the file is still there. That's the long-term storage, right? So far so good on that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the RAM is short-term storage. So like let's say for example, let's say you're browsing a website right now. And when you turn off your computer, the website usually like it's restarted, right? That's the short term. It's there for you before you turn it off. And that's what RAM actually is. It's a storage that like runs applications, it runs your browser, it runs like different applications until it is turned off, it restarts again, So that's what RAM is. So far so good? Does that make sense, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions on RAM? I'll talk a little bit more on this, because a lot of times when you're buying a computer, they're like, hey, this thing has like 32 gigabytes of RAM, and you're like, what is that? What does that mean? Is that how much storage you can do? More or less right now, it just helps you. A better RAM helps you multitask a lot better. It helps you run multiple applications at the same time a lot quicker. That's what RAM is important for. So like if you like watching Netflix while playing solitaire on the side, and sometimes and you want to keep it smooth, this is the RAM. All right. So here's the storage. So here's the actual long-term storage that I was talking about. And this is just the permanent storage. So when you save a file, obviously you don't want to like lose the file when you turn off your computer, you know? So the computer has to save it for a long time. So this is the storage. And this is pretty much like the SSD cards and stuff like that. And I think back in the day, it's like the floppy disk card. The same thing. So the storage is, yeah, for long-term storage. This thing like, helps store all the data, any applications, load up application. And yeah, it's just there when you turn off your computer. Very simple. And this is the storage when most people think about is when they go out to like buy a phone or buy a computer and they're like, yeah, how many gigabytes does this have? Oh, this has 125 gigabytes of storage. This is the storage they're talking about. So far, so good?
Yes.
Oh, okay, awesome. So do you guys know what a motherboard is? This might not be a very common term that people know about.
No, I hadn't heard that.
Okay.
I
So
think it's the motherboard is the part that you put in that holds your information.
close,
It's
close,
just
close. So a motherboard is pretty much so you know how all of the CPU, I was talking about the RAM, the storage and all that stuff like that. The motherboard is the thing that holds all them together.
okay.
Yeah, simple as that.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's pretty much the board that holds it all together, and it helps connects all the CPUs, it helps connects all the different components to each other, and that's what the motherboard is. So you can think of it as like if all the equipment inside the factory is the CPU and the stuff like that, this is the building factory itself. It holds everything together. So the more you know. So the GPU. Do you guys know what the GPU is?
I don't.
Pearl?
Mhm. Nope.
Okay. So the GPU is pretty much it's the graphics processor unit. And pretty much it helps graphics and visual. So whatever you're seeing on the screen right now, like you see my screen, that's all the GPUs work. It helps process all the visuals of a computer. And why this is important is like, let's say, for example, I'm sure you guys use like a really good computer versus like a more older computer. You can notice like the graphics isn't as clear. The same with like an iPad that's been old versus new, an iPhone that's old versus new. You guys can tell the difference when it's like the graphics aren't as good because that's pretty much saying like their GPU is an older GPU that doesn't process the visuals as well. So you could think like as a GPU as like the I guess the painting outside the building, like they turn all the stuff they made inside into something like that you can see on the outside, So this is what like most people see. Any questions so far on the GPU, guys?
No.
Awesome. Okay, so this is probably the part you guys should probably pay attention to and why any of the hardware I talked about matters at all, is understanding specs. So have either two of you guys have went out and bought a computer on your own before? Or like an iPad or something like that? Or did your grandson or son buy it?
My
Not by
son
my.
went with me.
Oh, you guys buy it yourselves?
Yeah.
No, my son went with me.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, I like that. So I'm sure when you guys go to Best Buy and they're like, oh, this is the new like Hewlett Packard laptop. It has like 128 CPU speed and gigabytes and like has like 35 like gigabytes RAM storage. And you're like, what did you say? I didn't understand one word you just said. And you're like, how much storage does it have? They're like, oh, it has this. Okay. Did you guys ever experience that before? When you guys go and buy and they say a bunch of numbers and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I just bought mine off QVC.
Yep, fair enough. Because whenever you go, but I don't know, because the thing I never understood is even before I'm a software developer. If you guys didn't know, by the way, so I create software and everything. Before I even learned that, I I didn't know anything about computers. So whenever I go buy a computer and they like you look at the website and they list a bunch of numbers and I'm like for the normal user, they would not know what that is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you just look at that, like, it's just a bunch of numbers. Like you don't know what it is, you know, and they don't really explain it to you. And they use these numbers. They use these numbers and they use like acronyms. And I'm like, I still don't know what that is, you know. Personally, that's for me before I learned it. So like, it's interesting to like see it now and understand it a bit more. But yeah. Any questions so far on this, guys? Before I move a bit forward and explain each part.
No, I don't have it.
Okay, Karen, do you have any?
No, not right now.
Is anything confusing you right now? I'm not. I know I'm throwing a lot of stories. I'm throwing a lot of acronyms, numbers, words out right now. So far, so good.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying at this point.
Okay, that's good. I'm doing a good job. You guys understanding what I'm saying. Okay, so the CPU speed. This is pretty much, you know how you guys talk about like your computer is slow, like let's say you're using a computer and it gets really really slow. Most of the time it's because your CPU is either overworked, is it running too many things and it can't like process all the information quick enough, or you have an old CPU that's like kind of old and it can't process that much information. So just equate slow computer with your CPU. Okay, so CPU speed is measured in gigahertz. So anytime you see the GHz, right? If you're going out and buying a computer and you see the GHz gigahertz, or any HZ, it could be megahertz, it could be gigahertz, or it could be terahertz. But you see the HZ. The important part is the H and the Z. Okay. So
Okay.
this is pretty much the speed of your computer. So if you guys like fast computers, this is the number you guys should be looking out for. All right. So if you go to any store or any website and you can buy a computer, and they're like, oh, this is 125 gigahertz, right? Or it's like 32 gigahertz, something like that, right? That's the speed of the computer. So always try to look, if you like fast computers, always look for a higher number, right? And make sure it is a G, right? It's the G and not an M. M is, so think of like, you guys might want to write this down, but M is megahertz, G is gigahertz, and there's T is terahertz that you're probably not getting to that point. So M is smaller than G, okay? It's like kilograms to grams, pretty much. M is like grams, and then gigahertz is like kilograms, you know? So it's like a 10 times multiplier. I think. Yeah, it's about like a 100 times multiplier. So if it says like 256 megahertz versus like 3.2 gigahertz, the 3.2 is bigger, by the way. Just letting you guys know.
Okay.
So that way you guys don't get confused.
Got it.
Got it. Yeah, that's the part that kind of trips me up. It's like, oh, this is 500 megahertz of speed, 500, you know, and there's like, oh, it's 3.2. That's not a bigger number. But remember, the G is bigger than the M. Okay.
Got it.
Got it. So yeah, that's the CPU there, and pretty much, like I said before, the CPU is the brain. So the faster the CPU, the faster your computer is. You know. Any questions on the CPU so far? I hope I explained it clearly so that you guys are more equipped when you guys go out and buy your own computers.
Look for the G instead of the M.
Exactly. And usually the smaller number might not always be slower, by the way, right? So because it could be 3.2 gigahertz, you know, or GHz versus like 500 MHz. That's something that should be noticed of, you know. I was doing research on this the other day because I also make other videos. But did you guys know that like this CPU, the CPU speed, and every time let's say every time you press a key on your computer, right, and it does like it types the letter A and it comes up really quickly, that actually happens in like a one out of like, it happens like 1 billion of a second of how fast that is of the computation. So the CPU actually can run like very very fast in terms of like seconds. So you know how it comes up like almost instant on your computer? That time frame that it comes up is like 1 billionth of a second. I thought that was super cool. Let's see. Okay, RAM size. Okay, so here is the RAM size. So in terms of RAM size, it's also really important in terms of your computer. So let's say, for example, you want to run multiple programs on your computer at the same time. I'm guilty of this because I like running my when I run my Safari or like my browser, I open like 50 different tabs, and I really hope my computer doesn't get slow. Yeah, that's a me. I'm sure. Do you guys use a lot of tabs when you guys use a browser, or are you guys like the ones that close them out when you're done with them?
No, they
Um,
usually at the same time.
Just like me. What about you, Pearl? Do you like are you like the kind of person that close out their tabs when they're done, or you just keep opening more tabs?
keep opening more.
Okay, I'm glad we're all in the same room here because like it's so because I'm like, oh, I'm doing something, but I want to get back to it later, so I just keep opening more tabs. Then I'm like, why is my computer running slow? Then I open my browser up again. I'm like, there's 50 different open tabs that I need to close, and I don't know which one's which. So yeah, for that issue in itself, RAM is what you need pretty much, and same with the CPU. Remember, G is always larger than M. Okay, so when you're out buying stuff, I know this one looks a little bit different, and it's a B instead of an HZ. A B pretty much stands as a byte, and this is how much it's like. If you guys have you guys ever heard of like binary numbers or stuff like that?
Yes,
I've
one
heard.
and zero.
Yep, exactly. So
It's a
the byte,
binary zero.
yeah. So the bytes is pretty much the representation of like how many ones and zeros it can like process at the same time or store at the same time. So if you want to, so in terms of RAM, always look for the GB. Like I said before, M is smaller than G, right? So if you guys going out and looking for a good computer that would run, our 50 tasks, we don't close them. Look for RAM. All right. So RAM is the thing you should be looking for if you want to do a lot of multitasking, or I guess use a bunch of tabs you're never going to use ever again, kind of deal. And it's in gigabytes. So far, so good with the RAM size, guys.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Storage capacity. So this is since it's a storage, it's a similar storage to RAM. I'm sure all of you guys know this already, but this is the typical, like, you go out to ask Apple how much storage this has. Oh, it has 125 gigabytes. This is pretty much it. I don't think I need to go any more with this, right? You guys all understand this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Let's see. All right, so here's the graphics card. This is where if you guys like watching like shows, or like movies, this would be the number you should be looking out for. Quick question, everyone. What are you guys' favorite movies? I'm actually curious. Do you guys watch movies? Are you guys a fan of movies? Or how do you guys like, I guess, like entertain yourselves on a daily?
I watch movies and TV, but I do that mostly on my TV. I don't really watch a lot of stuff on my iPad or computer.
I see. Well, what about you, Pearl?
Same here.
On your
I don't watch a
TV?
lot of stuff on my phone. It's so small.
I get you. Yeah, I mean, because there's like you guys use on your TV. Do you guys use like Netflix, or do you guys watch like just like the news, or do you guys watch YouTube? What do you guys even find your movies?
Netflix, YouTube. I probably got too many streaming services.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually have a streaming service presentation coming up soon too. We'll talk about it later though.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So if you guys don't, I guess this also applies to this also applies to TVs too. But because TVs have graphics cards as well. And it's usually like here's the numbers to look out for. Either it's VRM or right, or especially in gigabytes too. But it's either I know there's a lot here. So honestly, I would put long and short. Look out for gigabytes. When in doubt, look for that number. Right? If you're asking how clear the TV is, I know there's a lot of numbers here, and it's probably gonna confuse you guys. Honestly, look out for the GB. Right? Look at the number and look at GB. Obviously, the bigger number is better if it has the same like measurements. So that's all. I won't confuse you guys too much because there's a lot to go to here. There's like VRAM, gigabytes, megahertz, yada yada yada. It's a lot, but I'll explain it quickly. But RAM, you guys already know what RAM is. It's a short-term storage. Obviously, it helps multitask different like screens at the same time. That's what VRAM is, pretty much. It's like you can run multiple videos at the same time, and it won't lose its quality, right? So obviously, that's the bigger number. Gigabytes is just how clear, how much data, how much binary numbers it can show. So how much clearer the picture is. The core speed in megahertz, and this is like how I was explaining earlier that the CPU is gigahertz GHz, right? And this is MHz. So obviously this is a smaller number than a CPU, but it still has to do with the speed of like the processing. So think of that as like the HC is speed of processing. And what this means in terms of like graphics is like how fast the pixels actually change, how fast they change, how clear the pictures when it like how like I guess like how defined and how like fast the pixel change in relation to like the video, and you can think of it as that. I know that was a lot to take in. Any questions on this? I know there's like 3 numbers on top. There's like VRM, gigabytes, and megahertz on just the graphics.
I think I kind of understand it.
Okay. What about you, Pearl? So far, so good.
I think so.
Yeah, I know. Well, like it's there's a lot of numbers. I wish they made them easier at just telling people like, hey, this number is how fast it is. This number is how smooth it is. This number is how like clear it is. Like how keep it all the same number. Don't switch to different numbers. But I guess not. So yeah.
So let me ask you this, Andy.
Yep.
When you looking for the RAM,
Yeah.
and you want to know the graphics, you look for the gigahertz. You still got to look for the highest gigahertz.
Yep. The guy highs. Yep.
Gigabytes or whatever.
Yeah. In terms of into gigabytes. So think of like bytes as storage and hertz as speed, right? So the B is for like storage, and hertz is for like speed of processing, like how fast it like changes and like do the calculations.
Okay.
Yeah, RAM falls on the RAM. Anything that says RAM falls under the B. Anything in terms of speed, CPU falls under H and Z. So hertz. I hope that's easy to understand if you guys want to connect them together. B for storage and how much it can like hold and do at the same time. Hertz is how fast it is.
Okay.
Right. B for storage. Hertz for how fast it is.
Yep, exactly. And always remember M is smaller than G, okay? Because G stands for giga and M stands for mega. Now obviously giga sounds a lot bigger than mega,
Okay.
So yeah, and it's the same for computers and same for the graphics card. You notice how it's like CPU and there's like a GPU. You see how the PU says processing unit. So similar to like each other, where both of them process stuff. So if you want to be able to like watch a lot of things at the same time, I guess anything that has to do with doing a lot of things at the same time, that's the B. Like, because you need more storage to do more things at the same time, right? So that's kind of the B. But if you want to do things a lot faster, right? Like more quick, it's the HZ. So let's for example, you just want to watch your shows and have it load faster, that's the HZ, right? But if you want to watch multiple shows at the same time, a lot more, that's the B.
Okay.
Is that easy to understand on that part?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions? No questions? I'm gonna keep going.
I have one question.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, is a MacBook better than a computer?
Depends on what you determine as better.
I don't know.
So it's an interesting question you ask if a MacBook is better than a computer, but better in terms of what, like I usually ask like what do you like, what do you prefer, and we'll go from there,
Well, say what I prefer. Well, I actually love my iPad, but there are things that I can't do on the iPad that I can do on the computer. But I hear people that have MacBooks says that MacBooks rarely get viruses.
That is true. That is
Whereas
true.
do.
Yep. So security. So you value security a lot, right? In terms of like viruses and stuff like that. I'll say this, and it's also my opinion as well, because I also have a MacBook. If you guys if you don't notice, the security on both Windows or a computer and MacBook have really good securities built in, but Apple just has a lot better. Their security is just a lot like they would pay you $1 million. I think Apple actually pays you like out a good sum of money if you can hack the computers. And a lot no people know, like not a lot of people can hack the computers. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
So in terms of security, I'll say because obviously for Windows, if you know what you're doing, you can install like softwares that help protect and boosting up your security. But Apple already does that for you already. Like Apple has a built-in firewall and protection on your computer against viruses that like you can't really hack it, you know, like it's really hard to like go into, because they'll block you out. You know, if you can't get in, Apple will hire you right away. I'm straight up. I'm like straight up. If you hack an Apple computer and get in, they will hire you and pay you some money. That's how sure they are of how secure their computers are.
Okay.
So yeah, I hope that helps.
Okay, it does.
Yeah, and I guess if you have an iPad and if you want to buy a Mac, one good feature that I like a lot in terms of like a Mac is like you can share information between an iPad and a computer and a Mac really quickly, without like sending it to your email or some stuff like that and transfer over to your like Windows or like a Hewlett Packard.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just because it's on the same like Apple software, they allow transfer really smoothly. So like let's say for example, I have my iPhone right here somewhere, right here. So I have my iPhone right here, right? This is my iPhone right here, and pretty much with my computer, I can transfer information directly from my phone to my computer really quickly in like less than a second.
Okay.
So that's an additional benefit. And I guess if you use text messages, what phone do you use by any chance? Do you have like a Android phone? Do you have a Apple phone?
I have an iPhone.
iPhone, yeah. So if you have a Mac and use iPhone, you can respond to messages on your computer.
Okay.
So I like that feature. You know, I don't have to open my phone and respond to someone. I can just type to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
And yeah. So if that is better for you, I'll say a Mac is better. Yes.
Do you think an iPhone is better than a
Android
phone? Yeah.
Yeah. Again, like I said, it depends. You know, depends on what you consider better as.
As far as security,
what?
As far as security, the Apple would be better than Android.
Yes.
So
a lot better.
What is the Android got over the Apple?
Customizability. Since their, I guess, security, you can say, is less, you can go into your you can customize your Android phone a lot more. You know, a lot of people like their phone a different color, a different shade, a different shape, so they get an Android. You know, that's more or less. It's like the more secure and more defensible you get, the more structure the phone becomes. You know, whereas like the less secure, you have more room to like customize and change things around.
Yeah. Well, I went from an iPhone to a Droid, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
So I went back to the iPhone.
I know. I mean, I used to have an Android too. I used like a Note 3 from a Galaxy Note 3. And like, I mean, it's cool. And I guess it's okay, but like the big thing with Apple is it's just a lot smoother. But the one thing I don't like about Apple though is like they have a lot more control over your phone than you do. I mean, if that's good or bad, you know.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is like, whenever they have an update or something like that, they take so much storage, like your storage up for your phone. And I don't like that. But I mean, it's smooth, so I don't really care, you know. So it just depends on what you want. If you want more control, having people control it for you, protect it for you, an Apple. But if you feel comfortable about doing everything more or less yourself, use an Android.
Okay.
Okay. So far so good on graphics card. Any more questions, guys? Those are good questions. I like these discussions, you know.
Mm-mm.
Okay, then I'm gonna keep going then. Software. All right, so we talked a lot about hardware earlier, of like, you know, what's good, what's fast, yada yada yada. Now onto the software. And you know, if you guys, I explained earlier, software is pretty much the programs that are on your computer. They're not tangible at all. You can't touch them. But they're pretty much manual instructions for your computer. For example, Windows. So let's say, for example, if you're not using a MacBook, you're using Windows, even if it's on a different computer. If it's like a Dell, if it's like a Hewlett Packard, or like a different kind of computer, the software that runs on it is a Windows. So do you have any questions on that? I know that's a bit weird, but the way people differentiate between computers is like the software that's run on it.
Okay.
So if anyone's like, oh, do you have a Windows computer? It doesn't really matter what computer you're using. If it's not a MacBook, it's most likely a Windows computer. Yeah. And I guess the Mac has their OS. Do you guys know what OS stands for? By any chance?
Actually, I don't.
No.
No? So OS stands for operating system.
Oh.
And it's a system that operates the computer operates on. You could think of it as like let's say you run a like we'll go back to the factor analogy, right? For every factory, there's like a main instructional manual, right? There's like a big manual that like tells you how to do everything, right? The OS is that big instruction manual, and there's different ones. Mac has like a huge instructional manual, and Windows have a different instructional manual. And this pretty much just tells, like, this thing pretty much tells your computer what to do, right? And they just do it differently. So that's what the OS actually is. It's like the main big central instructional manual for your whole computer. So yeah.
Okay.
So right now there's only 3 big ones that you need to know about. Obviously Windows and Mac are the 2 biggest ones. The third runner up that I used to use too is Linux. And you guys probably, have you guys heard of Linux before?
No, I don't recall. I don't recall hearing about that one.
Yeah. So Linux is the third one. If yeah, it's a different one. So a lot of people, most like non-software people don't really know about it, but because I code. Linux is like Windows, but like stripped of all of its like fancy stuff. Like you can get directly into the code of the computer really easily. That's what the operating system is for. So that's why it's a not very popular one, in my opinion. So yeah, more or less, software is just like the guide handbook, the big guide for your computer, practically. Any questions so far on this, guys?
No.
I don't have any more.
Okay, easy to understand. Okay. Okay, so there's 3 different types of softwares on your computer, right? So there's the operating system, the OS, and this is the huge guy that runs everything. There are application softwares. These are like these are like your Word, Gmail, Netflix. They're like apps. They're apps pretty much. Applications, apps. And there's utility softwares. These are softwares that change your computer. And they protect you. They're more or less there to protect your computer. You can think of it as like antiviruses, malware protection, firewalls, yada yada yada. That's the utility. So you think OS is the main guide. Applications are like extra additional like things you do to help your life, and utilities are additional features to help protect your whole software computer.
Okay.
Yep. Is this easy to understand? Any questions on this?
I don't have any for this.
All right.
I don't.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so yeah, I'll go over this. I went over already. Pretty much operating system. This is the software this is like the big boss manager. The OS, if you want to put simply, OS is like the CEO of your factory. He runs everything. You know, he tells what people to do. He tells what's out there. He tells like what factories to run, what machinery to run, what software to run. The OS is the man of the computer or woman, you know. So like I said before, there's like a Mac. This is the Apple. This is Windows, and if you see like a little penguin, that's Linux. I know you guys have never seen this before, but yeah, if you see a computer with like a little penguin logo or like any like logo on the like a penguin, that's a Linux. And trust me, you guys don't want to see this. Those computers are so hard to use. Like you know how like on your Windows or on your like Mac, you can go to App Store and download your stuff, right? You can click on install and it downloads it for you. For Linux, you can't do that. For Linux, you have to like find the code, like the piece of code online and like input that into your computer for it to download. So that's why, yeah, don't use this. I don't know if anyone's like, yeah, just pretend you never seen it. I know I just want to say it for fun, but just pretend you never seen this penguin. Okay. Application software, very simple. Word, Gmail, word processors, Netflix, yada yada yada. I'm assuming most of you guys know how to download an application on either your iPad, your computer, or your MacBook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy?
Yeah, go to the App Store.
Yep, it's easy. All right, you guys got it. You guys got it. All right, utility software. Pretty much these are, like I said before, antiviruses, disk cleanups, backup software. Pretty much software that you don't really use as like an application, but you use it to like bolster up your other like hardware, like CPU, protect your like software, stuff like that. This one, updates and security. These are just the tips you guys should probably be aware of when you're using any like software, computers, anything like that. And I'm sure you guys are more than enough aware of this. Is update it regularly. Make sure you like update it. Use antiviruses. Do you guys use antiviruses for your computers, laptops? If you use a Mac, you don't need to use antiviruses. If you're using a Windows computer, you might need some antiviruses software.
Okay.
Firewall. Make sure you set it up. Most computers have it pre-set up already, so you guys probably don't worry about it unless somebody went in there themselves and turned it off. Then yeah, most times the firewall is up, so you're good. Use strong password. Just be cautious online. Any questions on any of these tips?
No.
Okay.
No.
Sounds good. All right. So if you guys are using like a Hewlett Packard, like I know Karen, you're using one too, or any other like non-Apple computer. I sound so biased right now, but yeah, Apple just has built-in software that's protected. But if you don't, you can get Norton. Here's some antivirus software that I recommend. If you guys are looking for some and don't know, is Norton, McAfee, Bitdefender, and Avast. So if you guys are not sure if you guys have the software or not or need it, here's a list of recommendations.
Okay.
Any questions on this, or you guys want to write it down or anything before I move on?
I don't have any questions. I have Norton.
Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, firewall software. So the difference between antivirus and firewall is, well, do you guys know the difference between the two?
I don't.
Okay, so a firewall so antivirus pretty much like the name said, it protects against viruses. So it's mainly checks for like bad software that's in your computer. Whereas a firewall, it's like, think of it as like a filter, right? It's a burning, like I said, firewall. So it's like a filter where only certain amount of things can go past it. So if the software is not verified or doesn't fall under a specific category, it can't get in. It may or may not be a virus. You know, it could just be any software, like bad or good, that you can like filter it through. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And here are just some like firewalls. So Windows has its built-in firewall already, so you don't have to worry about that. It's already always on. Apple as well has it as well. But if you guys want to be a bit more secure, feel a bit more safe, I mean the safety level is pretty high already. But if you need more, you can always get like Zone Alarm, Komodo firewall. Norton has its own firewall too protection that you can use. So yeah, that's pretty much what a firewall is. Any question on this before I move?
No.
Okay, sounds good. Passwords. Who in here still keeps their passwords on a notebook in their homes?
I do. I do.
It's all good. It's all good. Oh, you see. Oh, okay. So that's actually not bad, actually. That's actually not bad. Karen, do you keep all your passwords in a notebook too?
No, I actually don't. It's actually on my phone.
Okay. What do you keep on your phone? I'm not gonna steal your phone or anything. But do you
No,
keep it like notes or something, or where do you keep them
oh,
at?
oh, it's under password manager.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Mhm.
I
So
keep
yeah.
I have some under notes as well
Okay.
on my phone. On my phone.
Take them off notes, Pearl. That's don't do that. So keep it like it's actually really good to keep your passwords on a notebook. Actually, I'll recommend that to you, Karen, too. I know that
Okay.
the only way like someone's gonna like know your password is they break into your house and steal your notebook. That's
Well,
really secure. In terms of that, that's really secure already, you know. Whereas
mm-hmm.
like if you have it on a like an insecure place on your like phone, people could just hack into your phone from like overseas, you know. So instead of worrying about just your local community, you're gonna worry about the whole world hacking you.
That's true.
So that's a first step. So just in case like anything happens to your phone,
Mm-hmm.
or like you forget your password, it's on a notebook. You know,
Yeah.
it's a go-to. But
Keep my mom's passwords in a notebook.
yeah, that's good. That's
I
good.
first, yes.
Yeah, but
So you saying I should delete all of my notes that's on my phone? Well,
not yet.
when
Not yet. Not yet. So here's the second step. So Karen, I know you keep it through a password manager on your iPhone. That's really good. Um, what I'm trying to say is like for you, Pearl, you need to find a password manager because you like the most ideal way to store your password, right? Is one
yeah,
in a note in a notebook, right? All your passwords in a notebook. In case anything happens, tell your
Mm-hmm.
kids, tell your grandkids, hey, this is where all my passwords are, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you
right,
also should have a secure place online in case your house burns down. I'm not jinxing anyone. I say just in case any disaster happens.
right.
Your notebook doesn't go to flames and all your passwords and like bank accounts and all that stuff goes gone, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So best practice when it comes to managing passwords is have a physical copy of it and have a digital copy of it. And
Okay.
when you save a digital copy, you want to find a place to store it that is very secure. So when you have it on your notes, it's not secure. Notes are like very, very not secure. So
Okay.
I know you have an Android phone and you might not have the Apple's password manager, but out of these four, you could pick any one of the four, and it's more or less like notes, but you're storing passwords in a more secure place. If that made sense?
Yeah. Well, where do I find this at on my phone?
Sorry.
Is it on my phone, the password manager software?
Apple has their own, but Android doesn't have their own. But you can download one of these. You can go to the App Store and pick any one of these, and it will work just the same.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, I recommend LastPass. They're really good. One Password's not bad too, but it's just a more secure place because every time, because notes, anyone could like go into your notes and then like find your like your passwords. You know, like
Right.
let's say someone hacks in your phone from far away, because you don't have a
Mm-hmm.
password on your notes, they can get into your notes and get all your passwords.
Gotcha.
But this one puts a password on that app specifically, so you need a password and a face recognition before you even get into your password.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
do that.
So that's why I always say keep a physical one and like a digital one, you know, just in
Okay.
case anything happens.
I got it. Thank you.
Of course. Yeah, because I know passwords are a hassle to deal with and to protect. So these are just like ones. Hey Andrea. All right, let's see. Um okay, I'm gonna keep going. So since we're closing out already, the last 5 minutes, I'm just gonna give you guys some tips on how to maintain your software, your iPads, your computers, your TVs, or whatever, you know. Um, and this is for maintenance sake to both protect yourself, your equipment, and use it longer, more or less. Always try to maintain your computers. Don't let it be dusty, too much. Um, So yeah, because dust can like ruin like the hardware chips inside. So make sure to dust your computers often. You guys can buy like little like blow thingies that like the nitrogen like air that blows your computer. Those are really good.
What you can
You
buy?
guys
What now?
you guys know you guys know you guys if you go to Walmart, right? They sell these
Mhm.
like cans of nitrogen air. that like is compressed, and you can blow air into like the crevices of your like laptops to clean out the keyboard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are really useful. I like using those. It helps protect your just hardware in itself because you don't want to ruin that because that's hard to fix. Don't spill water on your computer. This is what I did this accidentally like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Computers aren't waterproof for some reason. I don't know why. Phones are waterproof. You know, like the new iPhones and like Androids are waterproof. Computers are not waterproof. So even if you buy the newest computer, they're not waterproof, by the way. Just letting you guys know. So don't spill water on it. It ruins the computer quickly. Or unless you're trying to get rid of a computer and pour water in it. That also works too. Make sure to back up your data regularly. Do you guys know how to back up your data?
No.
Nope.
Okay. So for this might be even a Nelson for Nerd Day, but I'll just give you guys quick. For Apple, for iPad and for iPads and iPhones, if you go in settings and you go to like you just type in backups. Most of the time, if you're signed in already, it should be backed up already. Like it should do it automatically.
Okay.
For Android, you might have to go into your settings and search up backups, and you might have to do it manually. So I'm not sure, because I'm not too sure if they do it automatically like Apple. But you should when you have time, Pearl, go into your phone, go to settings, and search up backups, and see if that's like switched on. If not, switch it on.
Okay.
And if they have like an option to like back it up manually, do that too.
Okay.
Just in case. Do this. I would say do this if it's not automatic. I'll say do this like once a month, just in case anything happens to your computer, you get a virus, you break your computer or something like that. You at least restore all your files, to a new computer.
Okay.
Yep. Any questions on backups before I move to like the security part?
No.
I don't have any.
Okay, sounds good then. For security, if you're using an iPad or an iPhone, you're good. You don't have to do too much. Android, Android phone is honestly pretty secure. You can't really add too many antiviruses. I recommend don't do that. Like for phones, don't download antiviruses. You can, but it's not really worth it. It slows your phone down like dramatically. So I wouldn't recommend. For a computer, you should find an antivirus if you don't have like a MacBook. Like Norton, McAfee, just pick one and just install it. It protects your computer really well, so you don't have to worry about too much with that. Be cautious of any like emails that don't, like when you're using a computer or your phone, just be careful of any like emails that like look suspicious, because when you click on those links, it bypasses like, because you clicked on them, there's a chance it might get through and like give you a virus. So just be careful of that. Okay. Let's see. Troubleshooting, very simple. I'm not going to go through the whole thing of troubleshooting, but when in doubt, turn it off and on. That's the biggest thing. Even if you think you got a virus or someone's hacked your computer, turn it off and on. Like when in doubt, like turn it off and on might be the best thing you can do. So that's there. Any questions on any maintenance, troubleshooting, stuff like this on the slide? We're closing out pretty soon. All good?
No.
All right.
I have a question. I just joined your group. I'm sorry. I thought
no worries.
I thought it was earlier than it was. But anyway, my question is, I shut down my daughter's tablet. It's not an iPad, it's an Android type tablet.
Yeah.
And she no longer, it's running Google. She no longer remembers the initial login and password. And I wanted to restart the whole thing, like do a fatal encryption, but it keeps going back to that email and password screen, and we can't get beyond that.
I see. So did you log in using a Google account? Because usually it's like when you log into like
she did, but she doesn't remember. She's 9.
Oh, she don't remember her.
And her mother doesn't remember either. Both of them are kind of tech newbies.
I see.
And we can't get beyond Google, and she doesn't remember what she had previously, and we just like to restart the whole tablet all over again.
Yeah, So what you can do is I don't know the specific instructions of what the tablet is, but you can do like a full restart on that like tablet.
Mhm.
I can do some research on that for you. If not, I'll say recovering your Google password isn't too hard to do.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
but it seems like they don't even recognize her on any of the ones that she's put in there previously.
okay.
I know it's difficult with Google because I tried that at one point, but I'm an Apple user, so I'm yeah,
Yeah.
I only speak Apple as I tell all my friends. And
Nah, I get it. Apple keeps it simple.
right. Plus, they'll work with you to get to get it restarted and everything else. But this has been a real challenge for me.
Yeah. What you can do is I think you get our emails, right? You get my emails I sent out like
I do.
yeah. If you see my email like help at whatever on the bottom, email me the model and I see
Okay.
like what I can do,
do
you know,
that.
help.
Yes, it's for a 9-year-old. We don't spend a
I get
lot of
it.
money, but her mother's upset that
Yeah.
I shut it down to let it recharge. And she's like, Mommy, why would you do that? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, because I thought y'all had some intelligence.
Yeah, I get it.
Right.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
happens.
So I'm the bad girl right now because we
Nope.
can't get into this computer.
Yeah. That's why I was talking earlier. Always keep your passwords, even for your 9-year-old, in a notebook and one part
Yep, you're
one part
right.
online.
I do all of those things. I don't know why it escaped them.
Yeah, I get it. So yeah, just email me and I'll see what I can do to help.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Of course. Let me finish up in safe security. Strong password. You guys already know this. Emails, don't click links. Cool. 2-factor. I'm sure you guys all got this. Okay, cool. Q&A, additional resources. All right. This is actually, if you guys want to learn more or like looking to learn more, there's educational courses online that you guys go and check out. Here's 3 that I recommend. Tech Boomers, if that's something you'll learn more. Senior Net, I think they provide a lot of resources. I'm sure all of you guys know AARP. They have a cool tech section. YouTube channels, if you guys like watching videos. I think in our email, we also tell you guys we have a YouTube channel as well that I make videos on, and we have all the recordings of the classes. I also make like 30-second explanational videos that I do to explain tech in 30 seconds. CNET, Tech Quickie, and GFC Global, GCF Global has pretty good extra resources for you guys to go watch. And that's pretty much it for books. If you guys like reading just hard books, there's Computers for Seniors for Dummies, the Internet for Seniors Made Easy. And I think that is it. Well, thank you guys for coming, and I'm just gonna end the class
Thank you,
here.
Anthony.
Of
Thank you.
course.
I learned a lot.
Yeah, glad you guys like it. I think for next week, quick before you guys go, is there any specific topics you guys want to learn I can make like a class on, just for future classes? Any recommendations you guys like to learn more?
I don't have anything right now.
Okay, then next week I'll be going over AI. Then, if you guys are familiar with the whole AI thing that came out, my next class will be on AI.
Is that Meta? Is that Meta?
No, it's
Meta?
no. Meta. Yeah, Meta is the Facebook. This is just AI in general, like the artificial intelligence coming out.
I would like to use that because I know I'm talking about it with my business.
Yeah. So okay, cool. Then yeah, I'll be going over that next week and understanding AI, how to use it, and like why is it useful, pretty much.
Okay, thanks.
And did the meeting starts at 1 o'clock?
Yep, same time every week, every Tuesday. My time is 10 MST. I don't know where everyone is, but 10 MST.
I'm Central.
Central. Okay. So yeah, I don't know the time zone, but just search up.
I tried logging into you at 10, thinking because I saw it was Mountain Time and I thought it was noon. So I said, oh, that might be, but that's Eastern time. And then I tried back at 11, or maybe it was right before 11 Central. And so, right.
Actually, noon.
Yeah. I don't know whatever time it is, but just remember 10 AM MST and you convert it to your time.
Okay.
Every week, same time, no difference.
Thank you.
Of course, guys. Enjoy you guys the week.
Okay,
You
bye-bye.
too.
Bye.
Bye.
Here.